Let the Dogs Out, the podcast designed to help you enjoy life with your best friend without all the frustrations. Join us each week as we help families across the country do just that. I'm your host, Corey, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Sally.
And today, what are we doing, Sally? We're going
to do a dog talk today.
On what?
Jumping up at people.
So how to get your dog to not jump on people, basically.
Everybody I talk to on the telephone tell me that their dog jumps.
Yeah, that's one of the big things that people don't like their dogs doing, that they do consistently. So we're going to talk about, just overall like training philosophy, rewarding and correcting behavior, why dogs jump on us in the first place, and then how to actually fix it between it being like training alternate behaviors or ignoring behaviors or actually correcting the behavior. And we'll kind of go through those different things and basically do that with some other little additional notes and stuff. So that's what we got on the agenda today. Formats wise, we've got Q&As, which is where you guys write in the questions, or I take questions people give me throughout the week and we answer them here on the show for you guys. Yeah. If you've got a question that you want us to answer on the show, you can reach out to Sally.
Sally at wonderdogtraining.com.
Yep, that'll work. So if you want to, you can send your questions there, or you can comment them below on whatever platform you're on, whatever episode you're listening to. We'll see the comments, and then we'll take the questions from there too. So if you got a question, you want to comment it, feel free. If you just want to comment on the videos at all and engage with us, we'd love
please
it.
do.
Shout out to Stafford, by the way, who is definitely watching this right now. He's a very loyal listener.
Yep.
So shout out to Stafford. He commented on the last one. We'll read out what he wrote here in a little while.
Wonderful.
Anyways, today's a dog talk, though. That's where we come on and talk about topics related to dogs, dog ownership, dog training, things like that.
Yep.
And today's is about jumping. We've done some interviews back in the day, so if you want to, you can go back on our feed and look at those. Or some of our highest viewed episodes that we have. I think on YouTube it takes the first spot and the third spot as two of the interviews that we've done. So,
awesome.
And then we're working on getting some more guests on the show for you guys. So
we've got lots of ideas for this show.
We do, yeah. And we keep little small steps, just working towards it.
Yeah,
baby and as they know,
steps.
if they watched the last episode, we just upgraded the studio in a huge way, and lighting and things like that. And it's crazy. We were just talking about where we started the show and where we're at now with the show. So, yeah.
Neither of us dare look back on it just in case it's like worse than what we imagined. Yeah. But this. So much better.
Well, guys, if y'all like the show, we ask you subscribe to it and like the episode that you're listening to. The goal, and then if you get any value from it, you learn anything, somebody who has a dog and their dog jumps or your dog jumps or whatever it is, if you learn anything or you think it'd be valuable, share it with a friend or family member if you get any value out of the show. Just because our goal here, once again, it's really pure. We want to help people and give people that either don't hire us or can't hire us or just, or even in training. We want everybody to get the same info. And so we want to help as many people as possible get that training info and stuff like that. I'm petting Mia under the table and just found a tick. Bear with me. Oh, sorry, girl. I was trying to strip it off you. I'm sorry. She's like, do not pull me. Sorry, old lady. Now I'm obsessed. I got to find it.
How do you know it's a tick?
I can just feel it. There it is. I don't know what to do with it now.
Just stick it on the edge of the table.
What? No. Ew, that's disgusting.
We'll dispose
I'm just
of
going to finish my drink and then I'll just put it in the... Sorry, Mia. Okay, you've got to get out of here. You're messing everything up. No. You're not going that way either. Get out of here. Go on. Go on. Go lay down somewhere.
Poor baby girl.
Keep talking. Entertain the people. I'm busy right now.
Well, you learn something new, don't you, every day? That he's just down there petting the dog and finds ticks, just like that.
Well, I felt it earlier, and then I couldn't find it again.
Oh, okay.
And then I just found it. Mia has got the funniest reaction, though. If you pull a tick off of her, and then you put it in her nose and get her to smell it, she starts going like that.
What does she do?
I knew you were going to do that. And as soon as I did it, I was like, people can clip that. I mean, that's going to be on the internet forever at this point. So anyways, where I was at before I found the tick and pulled it off of my sweet baby, and she was not excited about it. So
no, I heard her.
Yeah. I'm sure they heard her too. I mean, the mic's probably picked it up, but she squawked a little bit. Cool. But anyway, she doesn't have a tick on her anymore, so she'll be grateful.
Maybe that's something advice-wise for people. Ticks are out there.
Sure.
So check your dogs.
Yeah. Get a good flea and tick medicine.
That's one thing, prevention.
Yeah.
But it doesn't stop them 100%.
True that.
So make sure you check them over.
Yeah, absolutely.
Harder with the darker fur dogs as well.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Anyways, but yeah, like it, subscribe it, share, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Well, catching up, you've been back on wheels. Feeling good? Been out of the house some?
Yeah. Well, I'm still being chauffeured around because it doesn't
Still
have.
working on getting the transfer, all the stuff.
No.
The hand controls.
Hand controls.
That's it, yeah.
Friday.
Yep. Friday
That's
she'll be
it.
back to Miss
Then I'm
Independent.
free. Free as a bird.
Yep. That'll be
Target, get ready.
awesome. Oh, yeah. We're coming for you. Royally.
I haven't been to Target in months, so
There it is.
there it is.
Yep. I don't have a ton of updates other than we had a crazy busy week last week, which was a lot of fun. We had a good busy week. Mm-hmm. Shot a bunch of stuff, new podcast we put out, and then just a ton of appointments with people and stuff like that. So on one of the future shows, we'll take some of the questions I got from last week. So
That'd be good. That'd be good.
crazy busy week. And then yesterday, I was like in the back of the building, which is where we're at right now, and I was just walking around. There's just dog hair everywhere. And because we clean the front really good, but we sweep in, we don't really have dogs back here very much other than like a sales appointments dogs or whatnot. Anyways, I guess it's been a couple days since we had vacuumed or whatnot.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'd be willing to bet like 90% of the hair back here was Mia's hair. Just leaking fur. Disgusting. And so yesterday, I got here a little early, so I did a bath on her and I blew her coat out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And she's doing a lot better, not shedding nearly as much, but she's leaking hair, just disgusting. Probably took me like an hour to like bathe her and blow her out a couple times and stuff like that.
Wow.
But I'm sure she feels a lot better.
I bet she does in this heat.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. But it's just so hot. I want to buy a better blower though, because I did blow her out yesterday, like I said, with the blower. And, and it went really good, but I bet a stronger blower
stronger
got even
one?
more out. Yeah. So
God, I can't imagine what hair.
it's on the list of stuff to save up for. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think you're bringing him in for a bath sometime
I
soon.
think next week is time for Sully to
Yeah.
be brushed up and
Let's do
nails
it.
cut, and he's ready.
All right. Well, time for a show. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So today we're talking about why dogs jump, how to fix it, basically. That's kind of like the two big things. This is kind of like very similar. I want to take like all the big big problems that people come to us with and kind of do like we did with the puppy nipping episode where we just like broke it down,
absolutely.
how to fix it, all that kind of stuff. Well, speaking of, if you have a puppy that does puppy nipping, go back and listen to that episode. And then we did a ton of stuff on puppies at the beginning of the year because everybody gets puppies at the beginning of the year and stuff. So with that being said, I'd highly recommend going back and checking out some of those older episodes. But yeah, I would say first things first is just like, why do dogs jump in the first place, right? And just kind of putting yourself in the dog's shoes. Number one, if it's somebody coming home, let's say they've been home all day, somebody comes home or whatnot, of course they're excited to see us or whatnot, right? And I always interpret it as like, they want to come up and love on us, but they're like, you don't have to come up to me, I'll come up to you. Don't even worry about it, right? And so they start jumping on us to get really excited and stuff. Some dogs are bigger than they realize, and there's a risk of them knocking people over or scratching people, or if you're wearing, stockings to scratch you and tear or whatever it is, right? Or if they're muddy and disgusting. It's like there's a lot of reason we don't want the dog to jump, right?
Yeah.
But that's the big one. Another one is like, okay, well, like the dog doesn't jump on like us as a family or a couple or whatever it is, but he jumps on guests. Like, why does he do that? Well, it's like I also put myself in the dog's shoes. It's like, well, if I've been home all day, and then we've got somebody that comes over, it's the most exciting thing that's happened to the dog in a long time, like all day or maybe all week even, or, whatever it is. And so it's like, I want to like make, that's probably why he's jumping if I had to guess, Those are the main reasons. There's like other reasons that dogs jump too, but those are like the main ones of just like love, excitement, things like that, right? And so that's why they do it in the first place,
And it doesn't matter how old they are neither, does it?
Yeah. Yeah, because some people say that too, though. It's like, oh, I'm sure like outgrow this behavior. It's like, well, no, if we keep reinforcing it or like don't train it out, it probably just won't go
just
away.
keep doing it.
Yeah. So that's kind of overall, I'd guess, like why dogs jump, in the first place. Like I said, there's some other like behavioral issues. Like dogs will jump sometimes when they're stressed. It's called heightened posture and stuff like that. So they'll jump up when they're stressed to make themselves bigger or whatever it is. But for the most part, what we're talking about today is dogs jumping because they're excited to see us and want to love on us and stuff, right? Yeah. So overall, there's kind of like, we teach all of our new trainers this whenever they first get started with training dogs or whatnot. Like if you want a behavior to continue, reinforce the behavior. If you want a behavior to stop, correct the behavior, right? Yeah. If we want to reinforce behavior, that means like, if you want a behavior to continue, reinforce it, right? Reinforcing behavior is basically adding a positive to the behavior, which increases the likelihood the behavior will happen again. If you correct a behavior, that decreases it's something the dog doesn't like, and it decreases the likelihood the behavior will happen again, right? So those are overall like our two things that we've got in our arsenal here. We can either like reward behavior or correct behavior, right? And so we're going to kind of talk about a couple different ways of different things that we can do today, right?
Okay. Sounds good.
But the big thing to know, is like with rewarding particularly, you can unintentionally reward jumping without knowing it, right? So it's like if the dog's jumping and we want him to stop, we're like, stop, stop, stop. And we're having fun with it or whatnot. It's still more rewarding than like the stop is or the no or off or whatever word you're yelling at the dog or whatnot, right?
Yeah.
Jumping is also one of those behaviors too. It's like the dog's having fun while they're doing it, right? So we have to teach the dog like don't or do something different, basically.
Yeah.
But those are like the two things we have in our arsenal: rewards, corrections.
Yeah.
So I've got a big list. I don't know how many it's going to come out to be, but like how we can like train the dog to not, right?
Yeah.
So there's kind of two big schools of thought, I guess, here. It would be like a training, and this you're kind of in the same category, but like train an alternate behavior or ignore the behavior. And then the second big category would just be correct the behavior, which would be like stopping the behavior, right? And then from there, following up and training some sort of alternate behavior or rewarding a good behavior or whatever it is. But those are kind of like the two big schools of thought. It's like train alternate behaviors or ignore the behavior. And then the second category would be correct the behavior and actually stop it at its root, right? So, or maybe a combination of both. Anyways, the big one that you'll hear a lot like on the internet, if you're reading like or watching YouTube videos and like, how do I get my dog to stop jumping? Or you're researching it or whatnot. A lot of them are going to say, just ignore the behavior. So like ignore your dog when they're jumping, ignore them when you first get home till they kind of calm down some. If the dog's jumping on you, just turn your back to the dog, things like that, and just let the dog jump and then pay attention to the dog when the dog's actually not doing that, right?
Yeah.
Overall, I'd say that might work. If your dog's really hyper, probably won't, because the dog, like I said, it's going to be more fun to jump than be ignored by you, right? So if the negative of you ignoring the dog doesn't outweigh the positive of the dog jumping on you, it's probably not going to work, or it's going to take a really long time to work. Not saying it doesn't work, because it probably does work for some dogs, but it's a very slow approach. So I'm not saying it doesn't work, but those are some things that you could do. That would be ignoring behavior first and foremost. It's just if the dog's jumping, we ignore it. We don't pay attention to the dog till the dog gets like a little bit more calm, so to speak, whenever we finally do get home or guests come over or whatever it is. And then the third one would just be like turning your back on the dog, right? That would be kind of the ignoring one. So we kind of check that box. That all make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Any comments before we move on?
My thing is, if it's, say the dog's been left all day, you've come back, they're excited, they're jumping up, you turn your back on them, ignoring. But then when you go to give them attention, wouldn't that put them back to wanting to jump on you? Because now you are giving them the attention.
I think so. Like I said, this is more hypothetical to me because it's like, I don't really think it works. Like if a client was telling me like, oh, I've been like trying to ignore it and it's like, he's not stopping jumping, I'd be like, yeah, it makes sense to me. So this is more hypothetical. I'm just like, I'm checking all the boxes of different things you could do.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm thinking if, you can ignore them
you
initially.
Walk in, they get settled down and then you finally go, hey, buddy. And they're excited. And they're like, oh my God, they're finally, let's do it.
Again. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Like I said, that one's more kind of hypothetical to me.
Yeah.
I don't really think that works very well. I'm not saying it doesn't work for some people and some dogs. I'm just saying it is a way that you can do it. Right?
Absolutely.
That's the goal, is just flush out all the different ways you can, not all, but a lot of different ways that you can train your dog to stop jumping. Right?
Yeah, gotcha.
The next big category I'd say would be like train alternate behaviors. And then we'll get to like kind of my big one, which is like just stopping the behavior altogether, right?
Yeah.
But training alternate behaviors. So, and this is a lot of things that you'll read online too. And it's like, okay, like you could teach the dog to just like sit and await to be petted or whatnot, right? You could train the dog to go to place whenever people come in or you come in or something like that. And then the third one would be isolating the dog, which I guess you could argue would be like a punishment for a negative behavior, right? If you're too hyper, you got to get put up, right? But yeah, for that one, instead, let's just stick with like the teaching the dog to sit to await petting or placing the dog until the dog's calm, right?
Okay.
Or until we let the dog go see the person or whoever it is. Overall, I would say those are fine, but it doesn't really solve the root problem, which is the dog jumping. It's training an alternate behavior. And a lot of times whenever you read this, this is more going to be on like the positive only side of dog training, which is like, oh, let's just train the dog to do an alternate behavior, which is fine. And if you can, awesome. I think that's fine too. Like I said, my preference would be like correct the behavior and then get the dog to do something else, right? Or correct the behavior, then reward the dog for doing the right thing. But overall, I mean, teaching the dog to sit or go to place is fine. I will say, in my experience, it is very tough to get a very excited golden retriever that's 2 years old to just sit there and await for the dog for the person to pet them, right? So it's like, because like, it's kind of the same thing that you were just asking about. It's like if I ignore the dog and then I get excited to see the dog or whatnot, isn't that going to recharge the dog up all over again, right? So it's like, okay, so I've got this golden retriever sitting right in front of me. He's 6 months, he's a year old, whatever it is. He's very hyper. He loves people. He's excited. And he's just sitting there and he's just
He's just
ready.
charging
He's just
those
ready
batteries,
to get
isn't he?
petted,
Ready
right?
to
So
go.
then it's like once we finally, he's like sitting, he's being a good boy. We finally do bend down to pet him. He's like, oh my God, they gave up. And then like jump.
Yeah.
That's my experience with like trying this behavior,
Yeah.
right? Or training the dog to place or whatnot. Like I said, if you come in from work, like let's just use like a husband and wife couple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wife's been home with the dog most of the day. She works from home. Husband doesn't. He's out working. He comes home at the end of the day. The dog's been with the wife all day. It's like, Dad getting home from work. It's the most exciting thing that's happened today.
Mm-hmm.
So you could try placing your dog, but it's like when Dad comes to the door, unless you're really strict about making the dog place, and like very disciplined with that until you free the dog to actually go see the person, it's going to be very difficult for like the average person who doesn't have the wherewithal to be like, no, I'm making the dog stay until I tell the dog to get up. It's going to be very difficult for that person to get their dog to place and stay. Not saying it's impossible. We have trainers at our team that love doing that and doing that exercise for people, like place and stay when people come in. I think it's a great thing. Not my personal preference. As a trainer, I prefer to just correct the behavior, let the dog be excited, correct the behavior, all four on the floor. Now you can be excited, tippy toes, all that kind of stuff, or getting excited. But it's going to be very tough if you don't actually make the dog stay until they're told to get up, basically, right? That's a big one. We got to make sure that the dog understands, hey, I'm supposed to stay until I'm told to get up. This is, like I said, in my experience, a tougher thing to teach dogs, but it would be an example of training an alternate behavior to like get the dog to not do something. Like not jump on somebody.
But they actually don't understand that it's because of the jumping, do they?
Probably not. I don't think they make that connection.
They
It's
can't
just
make.
like,
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, so you put them into.
now I
place
will
and
say,
stay.
if you like, let's say hypothetically, they're on place, then you let them go. They start jumping on the person, and then you make them go place. I guess you could see that. You could argue that is like a tiny form of isolation, so to speak, which would then be a punishment or a correction because of a negative behavior, right? So it's like, hey, if you're going to be jumping, you've got to go lay down, right?
Yeah.
Or go sit on your place.
Yeah.
That could be isolation, which could be argued that that's punishment. But if you just start with the dog on place before your husband gets home from work, and then he comes in the door, I don't think the dog can
They can't
make
make
those connections.
No,
so to
that's
speak.
what I'm
So-
thinking.
But you could argue that if you came in, dog jumps, then you put the dog on place, that'd be like a form of isolation, which is then a negative, which would be correcting the behavior to say, hey, if you're jumping and you're being too hyper, you got to go be alone, right? Which would then hypothetically, discourage the behavior from happening again in the future, right? That's kind of the idea.
Yeah.
Anything else on
I
that
can
one?
understand that one. Yeah.
I mean, another one for training alternates is just like, don't let your dog see people, which is no fun. It's like, but you could just put the dog up, if you had people over. And if you had like a big party, like you're entertaining a lot of people from work or something like that, and your dog's crazy, you don't want them. I mean, I would say just train the dog, of course. But if you are doing that and you don't want the dog to jump, you can just put the dog up, hypothetically, I guess. That'd be isolation, which is, I guess, a correction for a negative behavior.
Yeah.
But it's more just ignoring it because you're not really getting at the root cause of the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But dogs are such social creatures. They want to be around people and family, don't they? So
Right.
unless you, like you're saying, teach them that we don't do this, they're going to continually do it.
Probably. Yeah. And that'd be my experience. The next one would be, I guess, what we teach people for the most part, unless we've got a trainer that's teaching the dog to place and stay when people come in, like Courtney from Texas. They like doing that a lot, like teaching the dog to go lay down and stay. That's fine. Like I said, no problem with that, no beef with that. However, my preference is just stop the behavior and then reward the good behavior, right? So it's like dog jumps, I give the dog a correction. Once all four is on the floor, then I reinforce the dog by petting the dog, giving the dog food, things like that, right? That's my preference because I think it works the best and it's the most reliable, right? It's like I show the dog what not to do plus what to do, right? That's balance training, right? If I've got my scale here, treats, praise, love, toys, etc. on one side, correction on the other, the goal is to balance those two things out, where hopefully I end up with a dog in the middle that I don't need to shake a bag of snacks at and I don't need to correct all the time either, right? That's my preference. That seems to work really well for a lot of people and a lot of dogs. And we've trained thousands of dogs. And it works really well. So
Sure does.
how can we do that? Well, I would say the first thing is, once again, remember, this is not just all negative. We're trying to, once again, show the dog what not to do, but then reward them for doing the right thing, right? So that's the big thing to kind of underline all of this about like how to correct your dog for actually jumping, right? So let's jump in. So number one, if the dog's actually jumping on you, my favorite one, or there's kind of two here, it's just using your body. So it could be you using your knee to get the dog off you or using spatial pressure. So using your knee would be giving your dog like a pop with your knee kind of on their stomach or chest area or whatnot to tell your dog, hey, please stop jumping on me, right? So the dog jumps, I give the dog a little pop with my knee, all fours on the floor, then I bend down and pet the dog and reward the dog, or I give the dog snacks or something like that, right? That's setting a line that says, hey, do not jump on me, please, right? Another kind of foundational thing I wanted to add in before we don't go too much further is during all this, when you're correcting the dog, you want to use words like no, stop, off, whatever command you want to actually use to teach the dog. You want to use those things as a way to tell the dog, hey, I'm marking this behavior as negative. Please don't do this.
Yeah.
And then once again, we want to reward the positive behavior, but the correction piece. So like I said, the kind of foundational principles here is like correct the negative behavior we don't like, reward the positive behavior we do like, right? During the correction piece, you want to use your voice to pair a command with no, stop, off, whatever word you want to use, right? I'll just use no. No is a very good general, like, hey, don't do that. If you're about to do it, don't. If you're doing it, stop, right? That's what no means to me in the context of dog training. So I would say that'd be a big one first. The next one would be like whenever you're using your rewards, there's not necessarily a command for this, but just use your voice. Get excited. Good boy. Pet the dog. Give the dog treats, toys, love, things like that, right? Once the dog's actually doing what we want them to. Okay, now that we've got all that out of the way, like the kind of foundational stuff. So we were talking about using your body. So one, you could use your knee, give the dog a little pop on the chest to say, hey, please get off me, right? So I give the dog a pop and tell him no. Once all four is on the floor, you probably have to run through this a few times, right?
Yeah.
I also kind of tailor, I mean, you could say this is another kind of foundational thing for all this, but I tailor like the level of correction to the dog, right? So if it's like a dog that's very gently jumping on me, I might use my knee to kind of gently scoot the dog off. And once the dog's all four on the floor, I'll give the dog like a pet and a love and attention and stuff, right? If the dog's going really crazy and I'm like, he's huge, I might use my knee and kind of pop the dog a little bit harder to like set a line, like, hey, don't do that, right? Yeah, that's it. So I tailor the level of correction to the dog, right? Or what the situation is. Because if I've got a dog on a leash, which is where we're headed next, and it's like grandma comes over or whatnot, I don't want to correct the dog 7 times. I want to tell him once, don't jump on my grandma, you know, that kind of thing, right? So I tailor the level of correction to the dog too.
Gotcha.
Anyways, so we were talking about using your body. So that's the knee one. Push, pop, things like that with your knee to get the dog to get down, right? Okay. The second one, spatial pressure. This is just like kind of walking into the dog. It's really hard for dogs to jump and be walked towards at the same time, right? So if like, and this would be more like, I wouldn't say aggressively walking, but like taking intentional steps when the dog's jumping, right? To get the dog to kind of like backpedal a little bit and then get all four on the floor, right? Yeah. So once the dog's actually on the floor, so they're jumping, start walking towards them while they're jumping up on me. They kind of have to backpedal so they don't fall over backwards. And then once all four is on the floor, I reward the dog, right? Say the same commands, no, stop, off, whatever it is, reward the dog when they're doing good.
Consistency.
But I start walking towards the dog to say all four on the floor, right? Because like I said, it's tough for a dog to be jumping up on me and being me walking towards them at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Brief asterisk. We just signed up this Great Dane last week named Toothless. He's very cute. He's had mouth cancer, so he had like a third of his bottom jaw removed. So his tongue just hangs down out of his mouth. He's very cute, and it's really funny too because he like tries to. Did I talk about him on the last podcast?
I think you did. Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, when he jumped on me, he was literally, his head was above my head whenever he was jumping on me. Like he's huge. He's so big. He's 12 months old, something like that.
Oh my
and literally
gosh.
jumped up. His face is like right here. I'm like, oh my God, this dog is huge. He's so big.
Yeah, and it's not like you're 5 foot.
No, I know. I'm 6'5". Yeah. And so whenever he's jumping on me and he's like right there in my face, I'm like, oh my God, this dog is huge. Because normally whenever we meet Great Danes, it's like, 6 months, 7 months, something like that. So they're big, but they're not that big, you know?
Yeah.
And then when I walk in, they're holding them back and I'm like, I hope to God this dog's friendly because if he's not, we've got a problem on our hands. We're going to be tangling. So fortunately, he was very friendly. But yeah, when he jumped on me, he literally ran up to me, jumped up straight away or whatnot. And that was like one of their big concerns was the dog's jumping.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, we were talking about them because about not wanting to use corrections and stuff.
Correct.
That was it.
Yes.
But whenever he was jumping, like that was one of their big things. Like he could hurt somebody, knock somebody over. I'm like, yeah, he could knock me over. I'm 6'5" and like in great shape, and like he could knock me over. So, but that one I just I don't actually remember how I got him. I probably just like kind of pushed him back off me or something like that. I can't really remember, but. Anyways, going back to the list. So that's using your body. So knee, spatial pressure. The second one is just using a leash. Another big thing you can do is whenever you have guests come over, just have your dog on a leash. Start them off on a leash because you can control the dog. Normally, most dogs are hyper for like 5-10 minutes. And then after that, they just settle down. They chill out. So a big one is just like put your dog on a leash whenever guests get over there. Now, how can you fix this? If you're just using a flat collar, you're just giving the dog a pop on the leash. It's the same correction whether it's a flat collar, slip lead, prong collar, any sort of collar device. It's basically like that's a leash is hooked up to. It's the same correction. It's just if like there's slack on the leash, I give the dog a snap on the leash and I pull this, I snap the slack out of the leash, give the dog correction. All four on the floor, I reward the dog, right?
Yeah.
The main tools you're going to use for this is going to be a flat collar, slip lead, or a prong collar or something like that. There's other collars.
Not harness.
Yeah, and the reason for that is because, the reason we don't use a harness is because if I give the dog a pop on the collar and it's on their neck, I can control where the dog goes. So I can even pull the dog down, steer the dog away, things like
Yeah.
that. If the dog, if the leash is hooked up to a harness and I give the dog a leash pop, sure, it might work. But I have to move the whole dog if I want to pull the dog down, right? And so I don't want to have to move the whole dog. I just want to be able to steer the dog's head, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So anyways, leash, I was going to go through these specifically, but they're all the same. It's like I said, flat collar, martingale collar, slip lead, prong collar, star mark collar, all those collars, anything that a leash hooks up to collar wise, you can do the same correction. It's just give, snap, and then once the dog's all four on the floor, once I snap, I'm going to pair it with no stop off, whatever the word is. Once the dog's on the floor, I'm either going to pet the dog myself, I'm going to have the guest pet the dog, the person that came home that's in the family pet the dog, whatever it is, to reward the dog when all four is on the floor, right? That all makes sense, right?
Absolutely. The key there is all four on the floor.
Right. Next one would be also using a collar. This would be using like a remote collar. And so giving the dog a correction on the remote collar. Remote collars mostly have like two functions, vibrate and stim on the collar, right? Vibrate, of course, being like vibrate, like your phone vibrates in your pocket. Stim being like a TENS unit, basically. It just gives the dogs like a little muscle twitch, basically. And those levels go up and down. The vibrate's typically going to be the same on most collars.
Yeah.
I would say, now I wouldn't start with this. I don't want to get all into how to train your dog on a remote collar, but I wouldn't just start by throwing a collar on your dog and correcting your dog for jumping on people. I want to condition the collar properly, teach the dog to actually like and enjoy the collar first and foremost. So we pair it with like food, going on walks, playing with toys, fun things, right? First and foremost. Then I want to pair it with something that's fun, like recall and things like that. So that's how I start by implementing the collar, conditioning the collar and things like that. Then from that point, then I'll layer it in to use it as correction. So that's my preface on remote collars. Don't just buy one off Amazon. Don't buy a cheap one. Don't buy an expensive one and just throw it on your dog and start buzzing them for like jumping off. That's not how we do it. Because I don't want to, buzz the dog while they're jumping on somebody and then they've got this weird thing on their neck. So now they're just scared every time the collar goes on or they get scared around guests. I don't want to do that. I want to implement the collar properly. So that's my kind of asterisk here on using remote collars for teaching your dog not to jump. Okay. That being said, if I train the dog and the dog's a little bit more sensitive, I might use the vibrate function on the dog to kind of give the dog a little vibrate, say all four on the floor. If the dog's jumping, I might use the stim feature on the collar. Same concept. Dog jumps, I either vibrate or stim the collar. I say no stop off, whatever command I'm using. Then once all four on the floor, then I'm going to reward the dog, right? Going back to kind of titrating the level of corrections, right? So I want to like turn up or down the correction based off the dog in the situation, right? So once again, if it's grandma, I might use the stim on a little bit of a higher level than like, let's say the collar's on like 15 out of 100, right? If the collar's on like a 15 out of 100 and I want to like be consistent, then sure, I might boop, 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 tap on the collar to get the dog off on the floor. But if it's grandma, I might go up to 20 to tell the dog like, hey, I really
this
mean like,
serious
yeah.
business.
And like the difference between 15 and 20 is very minimal. Like you can barely feel it. But, I might go up a little bit on the collar just to tell the dog, hey, please stop. Don't do that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to turn my level of correction up or down depending on the dog and the situation and stuff. So it's kind of up to you and your trainer to help you kind of figure that out basically. But if the dog jumps, once again, vibrate the collar or stem the collar depending on the dog and the context and things. And then I'm going to pair this correction with no stop off. And then once all four is on the floor, I'm going to reward the dog with treats, praise, love, toys, etc. Right? That's the idea.
Yeah.
All making sense?
Making lots of sense.
You got any comments or questions on that one?
I don't think so.
All right. Next one. These are all just some other little like miscellaneous things you can do. One, noisemaker. I was meeting with a couple last night, a young couple, and they've got two dogs. They got two dogs, different litters, like a day apart from each other and whatnot. And they've got a lot going on. And they're struggling with like their dogs are playing too rough and they just can't separate them whenever they're actually playing and stuff like that. And I was talking about how you could use noise to like snap the dogs out of it so you can actually talk and get the dog's attention and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing here. So if your dog's jumping, they're excited. They're kind of like locked in on like, I want to jump on this person. I'm excited to see them, right? So they're ready. They're getting excited. They're gearing up. They're ready to jump, right? And then they do jump. So how can I snap them out of that, but also kind of give them a correction and say, hey, please don't do that, right?
Yeah.
Noisemaker. How do I make a noisemaker? There's a few. You could put pennies in a can. You could put rocks in a bottle. You could get some pet corrector spray, which is just like air in a can, basically. Yeah. And it just makes a loud noise. The goal here is we just want to like pair the loud noise that the dog ideally doesn't like too much with jumping up on somebody. So the dog jumps. I say no, shake the can of pennies, shake the rock bottle. I spray the air spray. It's not spraying it at the dog. It just makes a loud noise.
It just makes like a
it's like
hissy
keyboard cleaner that's a little bit louder, basically.
Yeah, it just makes a hiss noise, doesn't it?
Basically, pretty much. So dog jumps. I say no. apply that correction. And then once the dog's all four on the floor, then I reach down, pet the dog, have the guest pet the dog, whatever it is, right? You're kind of picking up the idea here. It's the same concept,
It's the same
on, it's just
concept.
like, how do we actually communicate this message to the dog, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the big idea. How do we actually communicate this message to the dog? And so there's a number of different ways to communicate that to the dog, depending on your level of, what you want to do with your dog, I guess you could say, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
Next one would be, I guess, any follow-ups on the noisemaker thing, or is that it?
No, I suppose people could use any noise because you're just breaking that focus, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, you could clap, you could
Clap, whistle, whatever.
I mean, you'd have to have a really loud whistle.
Well, I meant with a whistle. Down a whistle.
Try it again.
Sure.
One more time.
No, I can't now. I can't whistle on a good day.
You asked me for me as flea face, so I was like, I figured I'd get you back with the whistle thing.
Yeah. But it's just a noise to stop that focus. And then you go in with
Sure.
words, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, hypothetically, you could do any noise. I mean, if you smack the table, you could, whatever. Next one would be like using like a squirt bottle or something like that. Some dogs really hate water. Mia loves water if she's going to jump in a pool or a pond or it's raining or playing tennis ball or something, loves water. But if I squirted water, she would be like, yo, what is that?
What the heck?
Yeah. The other day, I was letting her in the house and I was holding a water bottle and I had my hands full. So like the water bottle was like in between my arms or something like that. And I guess I didn't put the cap on all the way. So it's like slowly leaking on her or whatnot. Like 3 drops of water, literally like 3 drops of water.
You were drowning her, weren't you?
Backs around me and goes to the other side of the door so she can get in the door on the other side where she's like nice and dry. And
so
I'm like,
smart.
it's only a few drops of water. What are you doing? You're being a baby.
She's like, no.
Yeah.
It's wet.
Anyways, but you could, so same concept. No, like I said, we're putting together a pretty clear picture here, but dog jumps. I get my squirt bottle, say no, spray the dog. Once the dog's down, I give the dog a reward, basically, of some sort. Pet the dog, give the dog attention, reward the dog, whatever it is, right? And then the last one would just be isolation. So this would be like, let's say you're trying this or whatever it is, and like some of these different methods, it's not really working for your dog, still jump it anyways. Number one, I would say, if you're trying all this stuff and it's not working for you, call us or call a trainer because that might help out quite a bit.
I think so.
But if you're trying it and it's still not working, you could isolate the dog. So this could be going back to putting the dog on a place, bed, if your dog actually stay. But if you can't get your dog to not jump, it probably won't stay either. But second one, put your dog outside. So put them in the backyard or something like that. Put them in a crate, put them in another room, something like that to isolate them to say, hey, when you settle down, you can come back out, right? Isolation away from the pack is a form of punishment. So, and I guess the reward here would just be freedom. So being able to be back out and be around the people.
See, my thing with that is as soon as you give them freedom again, they're going to be excited, aren't they?
Yeah.
Especially the younger dogs.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I kind of like, people sometimes come to me with this dilemma of like, he's bad, so I put him in the crate, but when I let him out of the crate, he's bad. And I'm like, it's the feedback loop from hell, right? It's like, okay, I put the dog in the crate because they're bad. Then I let the dog out of the crate. Dog's hyper because it's been in the crate. Now it's being bad. So now that it's being bad, I put him back in the crate, let him out of the crate. Then,
Vicious
it's just
circle.
And so anyways, in that context, I'd probably say, exercise the dog. That's another big one. We talked about this on our Christmas podcast and Thanksgiving show or whatever it was, but it's like, how do you get your dog to not jump? Exercise them before people come over.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Get rid of some of that energy.
Get some of the excess energy and stuff.
Yeah.
Burn some of that out.
Yeah.
Do I talk fast?
Yeah, you do. You've always talked fast.
I feel like this would be tough to listen to at 1.5 speed. It'd be like double speed for somebody else. It'd be like, I'm already talking at 1.5.
Yeah.
So if they did that, it'd be like double.
Okay.
2 speed. Really.
So why are you talking so fast?
I don't know. I just get excited. I want to help people with their dogs.
You do.
I'm enthusiastic about helping people.
Yes.
Very enthusiastic.
Very enthusiastic.
Well, that's pretty much it. Kind of recapping all that. So we've got 2 things we can do. We can reward good behavior. We can correct bad behavior. We talked about why dogs jump on us. They just love us. They're excited to see us, right? And then we've got 2 big buckets. We can either train alternate behaviors or ignore the behavior, or we can start working on stopping the behavior altogether, right? Whenever it comes to training alternates, we talked about teaching your dog to just sit and wait to be petted, placing and stand. And then we talked about isolation and then overall just ignoring the behavior, right?
Yeah.
And then for the correcting piece, we talked about first and foremost, we want to, correct bad behavior in the moment at a precise time and then reward the behavior that we do want with treats, praise, love, toys, etc.
Yeah.
Right? So we also talked about how every time the dog does do the thing, we do apply correction. We want to pair that with a word like no, stop, off, something like that to actually get the dog to stop doing the thing, but also pair a word with a correction so that eventually if I just tell the dog no, the dog just doesn't jump or whatever it is, right? Then we also talked about too, tailoring your level of correction to the dog, right? So I turn the corrections up depending on the dog, the context, the situation, things like that. And I turn the corrections down depending on how the dog is doing, right?
Yes.
Or the severity of the situation. Like I said, if the dog's jumping on grandma and he can knock grandma over and she breaks a hip, that is worth a little bit of a higher correction, like one time instead of it just being jumping on me. And it's like, yeah, we can take our time and work this out and let the dog kind of work through it, right? So those are kind of the big foundational pieces that we talked about. And then we talked about using our body, whether it be knee or spatial pressure, using a leash to give a dog the correction, remote collar, using a noisemaker of some sort, squirt bottle, and then isolation lastly as a punishment to say, hey, please don't jump, right? And once again, dog jumps, correct the dog, reward the dog when they're doing good.
Yeah.
That's it.
Consistency.
Plane is landed.
Be firm. You don't have to be overly aggressive.
Yep. That's it.
Okay. Here's the spanner in the works. So.
The what?
Oh, that spanner's a wrench.
Okay. Like tossing a wrench in the gears.
Yeah, that was my British coming out. People.
We're all learning, people.
Okay, so you taught Sully that he can come up on me. He can jump up because it's easier for me to attach his
and stuff,
things. So he knows that if I invite him up, that's a good thing.
Right.
But it's not to jump up at other people.
And he doesn't.
He doesn't.
Yeah, no, he's all four on the floor whenever he greets people. He's actually doing he's literally spinning in a circle on the floor because he's so excited.
He spins because he knows he's not allowed to come up.
And it's funny, whenever I come over, he spins and pees at the same time and just rolls in his head.
You're the only person at the moment who he does excited pee-pees for.
Real problem. Yeah, I mean, I think there is some dog trainers would disagree with me, and that's okay. But I do think there's a context for being able to teach your dog to jump if you want them to jump. So it's like the rule is all four on the floor whenever you greet me or other people. But if we like tap on our chest, you can jump up, right? Because Mia does that. Mia doesn't jump on me. Like, even if she did, I wouldn't really care. But she doesn't.
Yeah.
And then, but if I tap on my, chest or whatnot, she'll jump up on me.
Yeah.
So it's fine. Yeah. There's
context for it. There are contexts for like allowing your dog to jump up.
Yeah, if you want to.
And it may be you are an owner that doesn't care that your dog jumps up, but
you don't want them jumping on other people.
You don't want them jumping on other people.
Yeah, we hear it all the time. People say that all the time. They're like, I don't care if the dog jumps on me, but I don't want them jumping on other people. Okay, great. Be consistent.
Consistency.
That's the name of the game, Sal.
It's the name of the game.
All right, we got a segment. Go ahead.
I've got a feel good.
You got a feel good.
I've got a feel good story.
Actually, real quick, before I forget, let me read one of Stafford's comments.
Oh, okay.
We actually got 3 comments on the last video.
Okay, what did we get?
Number 1, somebody named Corey McDaniel 3818 commented and said, new lighting is looking good.
I wonder who that is.
Somebody impersonating this Corey McDaniel? I don't know. Possibly.
No, it was you.
You don't know that.
I do know.
You don't know that.
I do know. Okay, tell us another one.
Stafford said, welcome back, Sally.
Yay! Thank you, Stafford.
She's back.
I'm back.
And then Stafford also says, timing is the key with collars. Once the dogs get into, quote, crazy mode, it's too late. And I agree with that. I forget what we talked about all in that episode, to be honest with you, but I agree with that statement. Yeah, Stafford's dog used to go crazy.
Yeah.
Hopefully doesn't go crazy.
Yeah.
But used to go crazy and be reactive and stuff like that. So yeah, and that is true. You want to like, if we can catch behaviors before they get to like, I always say like what his dog was doing, reactivity is like a scale of 0 to 100, right? There's a lot of behaviors that happen from 0 to the point where the dog's like full freak out mode. And we've got to see those, learn how to see those, and then start correcting those at like each baby step along the way. So we can work the behavior down from like 100 to 80 to 60 to 20 to 0, right?
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
So yes, I agree with that. You do not want to get the dog into crazy mode or allow them to. You want to start talking to the dog way before crazy mode even starts to actually get the dog to listen to us, right? That's kind of the big idea. Now a segment.
I thought we got 3.
That was it.
Oh, well, those were the 3. I thought it was 3 different people. Okay. This is a feel good because we've got lots of older dogs. Okay. And this comes from New England. And this lady has an elderly chocolate lab.
Okay.
Who is having some like...
We just signed up the cutest chocolate lab yesterday, by the way.
They're just a breed of their own, aren't they, the chocolates?
Very cute.
Very good. But anyway, as the dogs get older, you know that they slow down, they have joint issues, mobility's not so good.
Right.
So this lady takes her chocolate lab for a ride in the car every day.
Sounds like my mom with Charlie.
Yeah. So she says, and she does it just so she has a good day.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know. So she asks her, and the dog's name's Lucy. She said, Lucy, do you want to go for a car ride? And apparently she perks up and she barks and is excited. So she's carefully lifted into the passenger seat, and she has the window partially down so she can put her head out if she wants to. And they go for a nice drive so she can look out of the window.
Aw.
And then she said that's the way that Lucy gets her stimulation without being over, without over exertion. And it helps her cognitive health.
Aw, that's sweet.
Is that not the cutest?
That's cute. That's very sweet.
So if you see a chocolate lab wandering around somewhere in a car, that might be Lucy.
Might
if you're
be
in
Lucy.
New England.
Yeah, might be Lucy.
I thought that was such a lovely thing. Because sometimes you think they're elderly, so you don't really do much with them and they're in the house, but take them for a drive.
Yeah, that's one thing my parents do with their dog Charlie every day. They take him on a ride.
Charlie
after
goes
work.
for a ride.
Yep, every day after work. Yep. Yeah, I think it's when it comes to older dogs, it's like, and I've noticed this myself too, it's like my expectations of Mia will go down as she gets older or whatnot. And it's like if I don't watch it, then it's like we'll just stop doing stuff. For example, going to the park and throwing the tennis ball. It's like, well, if I just stop doing that because she is getting older or whatnot, then we just never do it. That's not really making sense. I'd have to put my thoughts together a little better on that.
I think what you're saying there is instead of her running 20 times for the ball, maybe you just do it 10 times.
Right.
And then you lower it to maybe, bring it down. So she's still got that stimulation because she loves. And also, could you imagine not taking her in the truck with you?
Yeah.
She loves going riding with Dad in the truck.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So you'd have to pick her up and pop her in.
It's wild watching your dog get old on you. Anyways, I think we did a good show.
I think so too.
All right. You got anything else?
Lots of good information.
Yeah,
there.
this will be a good staple episode we'll be sending out to people pre-appointments and stuff like that.
I don't think I've ever spoke to anyone that have not said my dog jumps.
I have before.
But the ones that say that it's not a problem, they either do it to them and they're okay with it, or it's pretty much getting better.
Yeah.
But I would say a good 99% of
most of the people that call
are
us
like,
dogs jump,
oh, my
they don't
dog
like it.
jumps.
Yeah.
Even when they're out, it's not just at the home as well.
Yeah.
If they're out and
Facts.
about and they go near somebody,
Absolutely.
up they go.
Yep, they sure do.
Yeah.
Okay, well, gang, that's it. We appreciate you
Yeah.
guys for listening with us till the end. If you enjoyed the show, we just ask that you like the episode, subscribe. If you want to, comment, and we'll talk to you back and forth. And then, the big one, though, is just if you got any value out of this, you learned anything, somebody has a dog that does jump, feel free to share the show with them. That'd mean the world to us. It helps us get the message out and things like that. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, if there are any topics that you want Corey to cover in a dog talk,
drop it on the
let
show.
us know.
Let us know. Drop it on the comments or send Sally an email.
Free information, people.
Yep. Alrighty, guys. Thank y'all so much. We appreciate y'all, and we will see y'all in the next episode.
Time.
Yep.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.